Hi everyone, I'm Hannah with CCW and I'm here today with Eric Newton at Career Builder. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at Career Builder, what your title is, what your center looks like, all that jazz?
Right. So I am the Director of North American Support as well as Risk and Compliance. What that means is I lead our group of support agents that support our internal and our external clients. We support B2C customers as well as B2B customers. Risk and compliance is a huge factor in what we do as well because I don't know, I'm sure you've received an email about a money laundering scam or something like that. A lot of that is centered around Career Builder, and so we have a team of dedicated representatives that are aggressively trying to identify those spam and scam individuals and shut those sites down.
Awesome. How big is your team?
Right now we're about 120 individuals, so it's not a huge center, but a group of individuals that are really dedicated to providing superior support.
All right, awesome. So let's dive into your customer service team, how it engages its customers. How do you make sure that they're engaging properly to create a great customer experience while also keeping the employees motivated?
So some of the things that we do from a standpoint of engagement is we've started a couple of years back we did a culture program, and with that culture program we wanted to ensure that our agents felt empowered, that they felt like they were a part of the organization. There was a huge drop-off in the connection. That has morphed into kind of a walk-a-mile program now, to where they're partnering not only internally with their peer group, but they're actually partnering with individuals outside of the organization, outside of the walls of customer care. So they're dealing with IT and sales, marketing. By forming this bond, now our frontline agents feel more connected to the overall mission and vision of what we're doing. Their individual roles sometimes are marginalized, and so as a part of that engagement, we want to make sure that their voices are being heard across the entire organization, and they are driving the change because obviously they're dealing with our customers, they're understanding what is really happening on the front line, and so if we're not leveraging that data point, we're failing as a company.
Perfect. So will you explain the reasons behind the formation of the culture program and how it's evolved over time?
So again, we really wanted to try to drive intrinsic value through the organization and create a repeatable process for our frontline employees that are coming in. So right now, I think our employees come in and a lot of times you look at the job as I'm answering support calls, I'm in a customer service role, I'm doing call center type work. But what we want them to understand is you're empowering employment. Whether you're working with a job seeker or an employer, when you make that connection and you help facilitate it, you are driving somebody to getting a position, which is then putting food on their table for their family. That's a much bigger initiative for our team to grab hold to versus driving them through some metrics or things of that nature. We're really trying to get them to connect with the overall vision. Connecting people to purpose is what we strive to do in our center.
That's actually an excellent point because what you're talking about is having a meaningful work life and not just doing day-to-day tasks, but really looking holistically about what you do and how that helps people.
Exactly.
Great. So what industry benchmarks do you measure against? I know you said you're not so focused on metrics, et cetera,
right,
et cetera, but of course you have to, do that. Everyone does to track performance.
Right.
So can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we definitely use traditional call center metrics. You just have to do that from a productivity standpoint. So we are watching service levels, we're watching abandonment rates and all the traditional things. We don't necessarily use talk time or total handle time, which a lot of centers do, because we want to make sure that we give people enough time to engage with the client because we really want to drive that first call resolution. But one of the major things that we pivoted to is customer effort. So the metric that we primarily focus on is, I call it ESAT. So it's creating effortless experiences through speed, accuracy, and transparency.
Okay.
So that's really what I'm looking at in each interaction. Did we make it easy for the customer to resolve the issue? Did we do it quickly and efficiently? Did we give them the right answer? Were they kept in a loop as the process went on? As well as did we further educate them from a next issue avoidance standpoint? So give them the ability to either prevent this problem from happening or be able to resolve it on their own. So when we look at a transaction from a quality standpoint, those are things that we're looking at, and that's what we really care about.
Perfect. Thanks so much. So what are your tips for contact centers to better understand their customer's journey? Like, do you have to use technologies to do that? Can you talk a little bit about where the mistakes might lie in that process?
From my perspective, what I've seen as far as mistakes is I think the focus is very narrow for most companies. So when they think about journey mapping and mapping out the process, they always think from their perspective. And generally, it's a very narrow focus on what they can control within the walls of their company. But when you think about customer journey, you're really trying to understand the customer's experience. And I think that the only way that you can do that is you have to involve the customer. So you have to bring them in and allow them to be a part of that process. And I think that you can't just survey customers. A lot of times we go out and survey and say, hey, what do you like about this? What do you like about that? And then we take those data points. But customers don't always know what they want. Customers will tell you sometimes what they think you want to hear. So a lot of the things that I do is when we bring in customers for focus groups, I want to listen with my eyes. I want to see them interact, and so then I can really understand, okay, you said that you didn't like that, but every time you're clicking on the button that you said you didn't like, you go there first, or your eyes go up into the right, so maybe I need to have a login button there versus on the left or whatnot. So I think that's one mistake, not involving the customer. And then I think the second mistake is just having that narrow focus so that any interaction with a brand is part of the customer experience. A lot of times, your customer never speaks to you. So I think in terms of a company like Amazon, people generally say, oh, that's a great service offering company. And if you ask them how many times have you had to deal with Amazon, generally you never talk to anybody that worked at Amazon.
Correct.
And so but you are having interactions with the brand all over. So understanding that there are things that are outside of just your day-to-day processes that impact the customer journey is a major piece that a lot of companies fail to do.
That's actually a really good point that I haven't heard anyone speak to, is listening with your eyes.
Right.
That's such a great point in doing focus groups. So I'm glad you touched on that. Thank you. Lastly, you were the recipient last year of CCW's Best in Class Award. How are you going to maintain that level of service to make sure that you're top tier always?
It's tough to obviously repeat in any field. I know the Blackhawks out of Chicago recently won 3 out of 6 championships, but
yeah, crazy.
Very hard to repeat though. So I think that the key for me is giving my employees a reason to want to provide great service. I think that that's what it boils down to. If your people are engaged and they're empowered, then happy employees generally translate into happy customers, and culture becomes infectious. But when we drop the ball and we lose focus on engaging the employees or challenging them to really be better, I think that then you start to slip and you start to see your level of service go down. So my focus will continue to be trying to ensure that I'm giving them a reason to want to work for CareerBuilder and to want to provide superior service.
Great. Thanks so much, Eric. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.